Bahamas Islands, Yaqui from the Marshall Islands, Yorana from Tahiti, Kia Yorana from Cook Islands, Maulele from the Kingdom of Tonga, and Talofa from the islands of Samoa. Well, aloha to all of you, plus you heard aloha in 9 other Pacific Islander languages. But it's good to see everybody. And again, my name is Ukulele Dad, also known as Dr. Victor Thompson or Dr. T. But it is a pleasure to be with all of you today. And I wanted to do a shout out to the Alvord Unified School District in Riverside, California. Aloha to all of you. But today, this is a 2-part series in preparation for May, because May is the Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month. I'm sure all of you knew that out there. Okay. But this came about in 1979. The federal government created this time in May an opportunity to recognize the culture, heritage, and contributions of Asian and Pacific Islander Americans. Yes, we are very different, all of us, in our histories and languages as well as our cultures. I'm glad that the government decided to recognize us. But I've learned over the years that we are very unique. However, I have many in this community, many of my Asian friends, as well as my Pacific Islander friends, because there's a lot of unique things among the various islands of the Pacific, yes. But I know we have all learned a lot, one from another. But again, aloha to everybody out there. It is good to see all of you. But we're going to again play a few tunes and do some talk story here so that we can learn more about the Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month, which is coming up starting May 1st. Well, before we continue with this talk story, aloha to all of you, Static Age as well as Frozen Forever. Good to see you. But let us play a song here to get us going. So this is a most amazing song because again, it comes from the islands of Tokelau. This is an island which is about 300 miles north of Samoa, where my ancestors are from. And this, again, it is amazing. This comes from the movie Moana. So for all of you out there, Moana in the Samoan language means blue. So that's a good word, refers to the ocean there. Okay. But again, this song talks about the joy of dance and of music. So that's what this song is about. And this movie Moana is quite amazing for the Pacific Islanders because the actress that played Moana is Auli'i Cravalho, a native Hawaiian. Of course, we have The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who was also in the movie. He is of African American and Samoan descent. We also have Temuera Morrison of Maori descent from the island of New Zealand, and also a big star with Star Wars. So this is amazing, this movie. And again, Moana is the first Disney princess from the Pacific Islander community. So you've heard of Cinderella, you've heard of Mulan for our Asian friends, Pocahontas for our Native American friends, but yes, we have Moana. So here we go. Lue, 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 lue. Ke mana tua whaingaina, te lue tule malohi i ngā hiwa. Ke mana tua whaingaina, te lue tule malohi i ngā hiwa. Halake taio, kuko mai tolima. Halake taio, hau tahi hiwa. Halake taio, kuko mai tolima. Halake taio, ko taku pele foia au. Woo! Tamil, tamil, e konini motu ulu. Tamil, tamil, ko pate mate lue lue. Katata mai iwa mai. Whakalongo pate mate lue lue. Hey, from the movie Moana. It's just amazing, friends. So, again, this was a great tribute to the Pacific Islanders to again produce this movie. Well, let me see. I got to do a little more talk story before the next item, but we hope everybody's doing well out there. But again, we ask ourselves, who are the Asian and Pacific Islander communities or countries? And again, we have many immigrants here in America today, but there are many, many countries. So I'm going to refer to a few right now, but I would say there are easily 50 plus countries in Asia, plus we don't always include the countries from West Asia, so it's amazing. There's probably more, but again, for the government's purposes, we will talk about the following. So, here is again a small list of countries of Asia. I typed this myself, friends. So you might recognize some of these: Cambodia, China, India, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, Laos, Malaysia, the Philippines, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. And there are a lot more. But again, maybe this gives you an idea of who some of these countries are. And again, diverse countries, diverse languages. It is amazing. It is amazing. Aloha to Dank Lam. It is a pleasure. Now, there is, of course, much diversity in Asia, but there are much diversity in the Pacific Islands. So let me talk about this. The Pacific Islands are divided into several groups. The first group is called Melanesia. So again, the Melanesians consist of these islands that I listed here: Fiji, Papua New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, and Vanuatu. Okay? Then we have the Micronesians, and again, these are not all of the islands that that are included. I include some just to give you an idea. Aloha to Matilda, and aloha to Winnie the cat has just decided to visit us on this stream. But we have again the Federated States of Micronesia, Guam, Kiribati, the Northern Marianas Islands, the Marshall Islands, and Palau. A shout out to Lorianne from Palau. Okay. So those are the Melanesian Islands, the Micronesian Islands, and then the Polynesian Islands include American Samoa, the Cook Islands, Hawaii, which is a state, New Zealand, French Polynesia, which includes the island of Tahiti, Samoa, Tonga, Tuvalu, and Tokelau. And I should mention that the song I just sang is from the island of Tokelau. Just amazing, friends, to again hear this language in the movie. Okay, just amazing. But I hope this gives you an idea of who we're talking about when we again refer to Asians and Pacific Islanders. There are again more countries, but I hope this gives you an idea. And my final talk story before we keep moving, because you can talk story too much in this show, okay? I recently retired from the Los Angeles County Office of Education. My friends in Riverside, you also have a Riverside County Office of Education, and a shout out to Dr. Susan Levine, a good friend there. So you say, what is a County Office of Education? Because I don't think many states have these, but we basically are assigned to help out the school districts, and I worked in this office for 16 years. But I'm so fortunate that in this office they valued diversity, and so when the time came, we celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month, and I did play for that. I played Remember Me from Coco. Okay. We also, of course, recognized the Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month, and we played a number of tunes in a number of different languages, Asian and Pacific Islander. We also recognize the African American Heritage Month. And again, our ukulele group, which we started there at my office, we learned how to play all these songs together. And we also learned some African American spirituals. It was just an honor. But I bring this up because there were about 30 musicians in our Aloha Ukulele group that we started there at the office. And we started this during lunchtime, so we'd all meet to kind of de-stress. We all need that, don't we? So we would play music, and again, I'd teach the folks how to play. And it was amazing because out of our 30 individual ukulele players, only 2 of us were either Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander. That was myself from the island of Samoa, Talofa to all of you. And then my friend Kalani, Native Hawaiian from the island of Hawaii. And that's it. Everybody else was not from our culture. So we had so much fun. We learned about one another's culture. I'd say the other majority of the group were Asians, but we had Latinos, we had African Americans, we had everybody in there. And we learned about one another's cultures, we learned music, and again, it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. And it just shows us that yes, we can learn from one another, and we can learn to get along with one another and support one another. Now, I am going to share with you a song which is in the Korean language. And yes, we learn how to sing in many of the Asian languages. But this song is called Arirang. It is a traditional Korean song. And this is about a place in Korea called Arirang. It is a mountain pass where they have streams and flowers and rainfalls. And again, this is a song that brings peace to the Koreans. But I want to dedicate this to some amazing owners of a place in Lakewood, California called Ohana Hawaiian Barbecue. So the first owner of the restaurant I met was Mr. Jin Lee. Then the ownership was passed on to Mr. Kim and his children, Mark and Christina. But the amazing thing about these owners, they were Korean and they owned a Hawaiian restaurant. So I said, hey, we need a little aloha around this place. So they started to allow us to come in and play music there, and we brought dancers in. And so can you see how we all collaborated together? So I dedicate this song to my friends, the Kims, who again care a lot about our Pacific Islander friends. So here we go. Arirang, arirang, arariyo, arirang goro no moganda, nare hurigo kashine nimu, shimni no mako sompalbyang nanda. Arirang, arirang, arariyo. Over Arirang Pass I long to go, walking quickly, the streams love to flow. Rain falls slowly and flowers grow. Arirang, arirang, arariyo. Mahalo, friends. That means thank you. But again, it is an honor to sing this in the Korean language. So it is amazing. We learned this for the Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month program. which we were supposed to have last year at our office, but of course we couldn't do much. So again, one of these days we'll be able to play it. But the musicians that learned this song again, we had many Asians, and some were Chinese, some were Filipino, and we had some other musicians who were Latino. So it is amazing, friends. Bring some aloha to the people by singing this song in Korean. All right, now, those of you familiar with this program know this is our most favorite time. Well, maybe not yours. But it is time for ukulele class. Or for all of you out there in the Albert School District, get your ukulele out, or we can do what we call the strum sync. All right, so here we go. Yeah, I recently did this with a group out in Los Angeles Unified School District, Del Amo Elementary School. We did strum syncing. But I think we learned this song. It is from the island of Samoa by the artist 5 Stars in Samoan, Fetu e Lima. That means 5 stars, everybody. Lima means 5. But again, this song talks about the coconut. It talks about cooking rice and about the taro root, also known as the taro. So yes, these are important foods on the islands. And thanks to our Asian friends, we have rice. Aloha to Woma. Woma is one of our musicians in this group. But we are going to learn 2 chords, and then we're going to do some stretching, breathing to get ready to play. All right. So again, on the ukulele, this is the left hand, which I use to place my fingers here on the strings. And this is called fret 1, the first section where we can put our fingers, fret 2, fret 3, and fret 4. And this is finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, and finger 4. Okay? And we strum the ukulele with this right hand. I often use my thumb because, as I mentioned to my friends out there, I injured my fingers. So this is how we strum. Hey, we're strumming. And stop. All right. So we're going to go here to the chord chart. So this is called the C7 chord. So we have string 1, known as the G string. That is the one closest to me. String 1, G. String 2, C. String 3, E. And string 4, A. So again, we use fret 1. Our first finger is on string 4. So let me show you what that looks like. Again, first finger is on string 4. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. One more time. 1, 2, and stop. All right. Now, the next chord we're going to learn is called the F chord. That was the C7. This is the F. So our first finger is on string 3, second finger on string 1, and the F chord sounds like this. So first finger string 3, second finger string 1. Here's F. Here we go. So here's how we play the song. F, 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4, and a F, 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4. All right, everybody. So, again, before we start playing our music, we need to be nice and relaxed. So we're going to do our self-care tip, everybody. It's important every day to do some nice, deep breathing through the stomach. Woo-hoo! So again, let's do some breathing together. You can stretch out, lift up your ukulele like that, or your imaginary ukulele. Breathe in through the stomach, and let us reflect. Again, breathe in and out. And reflect on Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Breathe in and out. Reflect on what can I do to be unified with everyone. Breathe in and all the way to the bottom and out. All right, we're ready to start playing here, folks. So our song goes like this: 5, 6, here we go. F, 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4, and an F, 2, 3, 4, C7. Keep going. Coconut, 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 coconut. He say every morning when I wake up I drink my coconut. 2, 3, 4, C7, 2, 3, 4. Every evening before I sleep I drink my coconut. 2, 3, 4, C7, 2. Here we go. Coconut, 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 coconut. He say, my mama, she cooks rice with the coconut. 2, 3, 4, C7, 2. Keep going. My auntie, she cooks taro with the coconut. 2, 3, 4, C7, 2. Keep going. Coconut, 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 coconut. He say, coconut, 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 coconut. One more time. Coconut, 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 coconut. Hey, you did it. You can play the ukulele now, friends. Good job. So again, the coconut is something that's very plentiful on the islands. And so what you do, you make some coconut milk and you put it together with the taro root. Woo-hoo! You can either boil or bake the taro. It's very tasty, friends. Yes. Woo-hoo! I'm getting hungry already. Okay. Yes. All right. Now, friends, it is time. I want to visit a song here in the Mandarin language, and a shout out to Wilma there. This is for you. Okay. But I was telling you again about our Aloha Ukulele group there at the office. So one year we did the theme of our Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month luncheon was we talked about China. So Wilma is from the big island of China. Yes. Okay. So again, it's interesting to note that in 1778, the first group of Chinese came to America. Amazing. So we'll compare that to our last song was the Coconut Song. So in 1904, American Samoa became a United States territory. And then in 1920, the Samoans came to Hawaii, and then in 1950 to California. That's where my parents came. But imagine this, 1778, the first Chinese came to America. So again, Wilma is from the big island of Taiwan. That's it, yeah. Taiwan is an island, if you didn't know, friends. You should study your geography. Okay. But this is a wonderful song. I will sing the first part in Mandarin and then in English and then the same thing there. So I think you will understand what it means. And this is a song that we do for the Chinese New Year, which this year was on the second week of February. All right, here we go. 5, 6, here we go. 每条大街小巷，每股的都市里，见面的有祝我，就是恭喜恭喜，恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀，恭喜恭喜恭喜你。Every street and every lane, everyone is greeting. When we meet and say hello, they all greet to 恭喜恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀，恭喜恭喜恭喜你。冬天一到尽头， Sensei how to chao shi, when nu one do chin fong, chu cho re chon cho di, gong shi ni ya, gong shi ni. Springtime will be coming soon, bringing us the good news. Soft warm breezes blowing, giving life to good earth. Gong shi ni ya, gong shi ni, gong shi ni ya, gong shi ni. Mahalo, friends, and mahalo to Woma. So, friends, it is truly a great feeling to again sing in the language of others. We learn more about their culture. I did a daring thing with this song. I went to the city of Monterey Park here in Los Angeles County and was in a Chinese restaurant and said, "Friends, I have a song for you." And they didn't boo me either. They said, "That's good." So again, because of this instrument, because of music, we can bring joy to others. And that's self-care tip number 2, friends. If you listen to, play, or even sing music, you will feel great. All right. Well, we got a couple more tunes, so I got to keep moving. Okay. But next, I want to bring you a song from Hawaii. So let me share some thoughts about the island of Hawaii. So again, we have a group, as I mentioned, the Aloha Ukulele Ensemble at my office. We also learn how to dance the hula. Yes, that is Hawaiian dance, hula. We had some wonderful dance instructors, Ann and Dio. And the amazing thing about Ann and Dio, because it wasn't me or my Hawaiian friend Kalani teaching us to dance, they taught. And Ann is Filipino, and Dio is from South Africa. So friends, when we embrace the culture and the dance and the language, we can help others just like they did. They were so good that they did the hula in the top hula competition in Hawaii called Merry Monarch. Yes, Ann and Dio, amazing. Okay. Well, some interesting facts about Hawaii is this. In 1893, the Queen and her monarchy was overthrown by the United States government, so a sad time. In 1900, Hawaii became a U.S. territory, and then in 1959, Hawaii became a state. In 2001, Native Hawaiians were given the same indigenous status as Native Americans, again in 2001. So again, think about those things. There are some sad things there, but it's important, students, that you study history so we can understand some of the things that occurred, and well, quite frankly, so that we can right some of the wrongs and that we can again advocate for all people. So this is the history of Hawaii. It is probably the #1 tourist spot in the world. But think about these things as you have the opportunity to go there or look up Hawaii virtually. Now, this song is a song from Lilo and Stitch. Okay, it's an amazing song. Written by Mark Keali'i Ho'omalu. Also sung by the Kamehameha School's chorus. That is the big school there in Hawaii. And another group called Jump 5. So it's amazing. But again, just not too many movies about Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders, and I understand this was animated, but hey, at least we have something we can get started with. But again, I want to mention this song talks about surfing. I like surfing, so a shout out to all of you. Hang loose. But Duke Kahanamoku was probably one who they call the father of surfing. He is a native Hawaiian, was an Olympian in swimming. He was fantastic. And there's also a native Hawaiian woman named Rel Kapokio kae hukai. I think I did it. That was a tough Native Hawaiian word. And her other last name is Sun. She is a women's world surfing champion. So again, these are some Hawaiians that we look up to. So here we go. I'm going to sing part of this song in English and then part in the Hawaiian language. So I hope you like it. There's no place I'd rather be than on my surfboard out at sea, lingering in the ocean blue. If I had one wish come true, I'd surf till the sunset beyond the horizon. Aviti viki mai lohi lohi, lave mai ko papa he nalu, flying by on Hawaiian roller coaster ride. Aviti viki mai lohi lohi, lave mai ko papa he nalu, pipi na nalu la la la, peke ka hoe nei ka pue one, ele ele mai kakoe, Hawaii roller coaster ride. Hang loose, hang tin house, shaka shaka, no worry, phone fear, ain't no big up rider. Cutting in, cutting up, cutting back, cutting up, front side, back side, goofy footed wipe out. Let's get jumping, surfs up and pumping, coasting with the motion of the ocean. Whirlpool swirling, cascading, twirling, Hawaiian roller coaster ride. Aviti viki mai lohi lohi, lave mai ko papa he nalu, ina nalu la la la, ike ka hoe nei ka pue one, hele hele mai kakoe, Hawaii roller coaster ride. Hele hele mai kakoe, Hawaii roller coaster ride. Wow, that was a workout, friends. So again, hope you learned some of the language there, the Hawaiian language and the surf language, which is actually the hardest part to pronounce. Harder than Hawaiian. The hang loose, hang tin house, shaka shaka, cutting in, cutting up, cutting back, cutting out. That's surf language, friend. All right. Well, friends, we've come to the conclusion of our time together here. And again, a shout out to all of my friends there in Alvord School District in Riverside County, California. But I just wanted to part with this, and then I'm going to play for you the Aloha Farewell Song. But again, for our Asian friends, our Pacific Islander friends, well, the government put us together for some reason. But you know, that's okay, because what I've learned is this. I have learned from all of my friends over many years the importance of ohana, that means family, to support one another, to show honor, respect, and aloha, love and kindness for all human beings. Again, right now, in particular with our Asian friends, there is much hate out there in the world. But would all of you do something? Look out for all of our friends. Look out for everyone in our communities. And I always say to our Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander friends, because we are kind of a little bigger than most, say, hey, if you see bullying out there or something going on, just say, don't do that. I know that we can help people and we can teach people in a kind and loving way. That is aloha. So take some aloha to the world today, everybody. So let us finish up with this final song. Aloha from Hawaii. Adios from Guam and the Marianas Islands. Alua from the Kingdom of Tonga. Airera from the Cook Islands. Haerera from New Zealand. Yakwe from the Marshall Islands, Meikun from Palau, Mothe from Fiji, Nana from Tahiti, and Tofa from the islands of Samoa. Again, thank you so much and aloha.